What's up, Taiwan? Good evening. I'm Leslie Liao with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A Chinese aircraft carrier and several other warships have been spotted sailing in waters near Japan and Taiwan. The strike group includes one of China's two aircraft carriers and is accompanied by guided missile destroyers and other patrol boats. Japan's defense ministry says the ships were headed south into waters near Taiwan. Chinese vessels often chart a similar course on their way to training exercises in the Pacific Ocean. Officials in Taiwan say they are monitoring the ships. For more on the latest developments near Taiwan's coast, our reporter Jaime Okan spoke to Eric Shi, chief editor of the Chinese-language Taiwan Aviation and Military News publication. He started by asking what the significance is of Chinese warships passing through the region.
PLA built the air carrier strike group forces, so they need to practice. They need to go to the Philippine Sea to practice their A2AD tactics. What is A2AD tactics? They want to, if Taiwan Strait happened, the war or the conflict happened between the Taiwan Straits, the United States might launch their forces to help Taiwan to defend ourselves, to defend Taiwan. So under this situation, if PLA want to anti-access and the access deny the U.S. armed forces into the Philippine Sea or to assist Taiwan to combat with the PLA, so they will be a combined forces operation from their 2nd Artillery and the Navy and Air Force. So they are practicing their carrier strike group and 2nd Artillery and the Air Force. It will be a combined exercise, I think, in the near future.
Recently, there were reports that the order of howitzers expected to arrive in 2023 will be delayed until at least 2026 because of production issues in the war in Ukraine. Can you kind of talk about how Taiwan's military might have to change its strategy or kind of look for other military pieces of hardware because of this delay?
They will provide more MLRS launchers to Taiwan. I mean the HIMARS rocket launching system to Taiwan. But as far as I know, the M109A6 howitzer is required from the Taiwan Army for quite a long time, and they finally got the permission, or they finally got the sale from the U.S. Armed Forces, from the United States government. So they are looking forward to the new howitzer very much. If the worst situation happen, I mean the PLA launched the attack to Taiwan, the U.S. will going to help us, or they will launch their armed forces to assist to Taiwan to defeat the PLA. You know, the two things is the linkage. But tactically, Taiwan Army could step the howitzer that could enhance our capability to anti the amphibious landing. But the rocket, it also has the similar capability.
The head of Taiwan's main opposition party, the Kuomintang, or KMT, is set to visit the United States in June. The party says Chairman Eric Zhu will meet with officials from the Departments of State and Defense as well as from the White House. Talks will cover Taiwan's ties with the U.S. and China and its defense capabilities. Zhu will also attend a ceremony to mark the reopening of the KMT's office in Washington. The party closed the office down 13 years ago after winning the presidency. The KMT, which lost the presidency in 2016, says the main purpose of the 12-day trip is to let the U.S. hear different voices from Taiwan. Zhu's visit will also include stops in New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Taiwan moved up 5 places to number 38 in the latest World Press Freedom Index, which Reporters Without Borders released on Tuesday. We spoke with the organization's East Asia Bureau Chief Cedric Alviani about the condition of press freedoms in the region.
We are lucky in East Asia to have some democracies. that enforce press freedom and that make efforts to bring improvements. This year's ranking sees Taiwan increasing 5 ranks. Taiwan is now 38. It's not that the media situation is really better in Taiwan, but it's just that some other countries have moved down. South Korea, for example, has lost 1 rank and is currently 43rd. I would say the big difference between Taiwan and South Korea is that in South Korea, there is quite an important phenomenon of harassment on journalists online that does not exist in Taiwan. We haven't seen much improvement in Taiwan with regards to press freedom. It's still very difficult for journalists to enforce their independence from the boardroom. And we also see a lot of conflict of interest due to the fact that most of the mainstream media belong to corporations that have major business interests and that somehow use their influence to support these interests.
Taiwan reported over 23,000 new cases of COVID-19 and 5 deaths on Tuesday. The ongoing spike in cases has prompted new rules for PCR testing and hospitalization designed to keep the medical system from overloading. You must test positive with a rapid test before you can get a PCR test at a hospital. And Taipei's big hospitals are only admitting COVID patients who are in critical condition or need oxygen. Despite the recent spike in cases, starting on May 9th, people entering the country will only need to quarantine for 7 days with another 7 days of self-health management. Taiwan's tallest peak saw a rare May snowfall on Monday afternoon. The almost 4,000-meter Yushan or Jade Mountain recorded half an inch of snow, the first May snowfall in over a decade. There was chilly weather around Taiwan, with Taipei reporting its coldest May temperatures since 2014. Our reporter Eric Gao spoke with meteorologist Timmy Pong to find out the reason for the sudden drop in mercury.
Actually, the main reason is monsoon flow from the northeast, because during the winter time in Asia Pacific, in continental, we have a high pressure system. We call it a continental high pressure system, and they will bring lots of the cold air mass. And the cold air mass also coupled with the frontal system in South China, and also a low pressure from the South China Sea. So 3 major weather systems combined together, and lots of water, and let the temperature down, and also the cold air mass from the north.
So can we expect more of these cold drops or other unseasonable weather in the future?
We can meet a more higher temperature, especially, for example, 20 years ago, and the May become the traditional summer weather pattern in Taiwan. However, due to the global weather change, especially the global warming, and I think in the future, sometimes it's warm, but suddenly the temperature jump.
The launch of Taiwan's first domestically produced space rocket was canceled on Tuesday after originally being postponed due to bad weather. The rocket was set to launch Wednesday morning for a test of its propellant, navigation, and flight control systems. It was hoped to be an important step in Taiwan's push to develop its space industry, but team members from the Advanced Rocket Research Center say that flight control systems had been damaged by wind and rain, and the problems could not be repaired on site. The Japanese Space Agency has teamed up with a toy maker to develop its latest mini lunar exploration robot. Sora-Q is the product of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA, and toy company Tomy. The small round robot weighs only 250 grams, and it is designed specially to adapt to the lunar environment. It is made using materials that can endure the harsh temperature fluctuations on the moon, and it also has 2 wheels that allow it to move freely on powdery sand. The developers are planning to send the robot to the moon next year and hope this mission will inspire the nation's children to look at the stars. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we leave you with images of the annual fundraiser for New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Met Gala. I think I've seen some of these things at the furniture store. Anyway, this year's A-listers were told to dress in gilded glamour. I'm Leslie Liao. Take care and see you next time, and in space, judging from whatever she's wearing. Oh, Lizzo.